Veselin, who is a 2025 contestant, and he's currently studying at the University of Bologna. He won a bronze medal in the IEO. And we have Nguyen. He's a 2023 contestant. He has a silver medal, and he's currently at Duke University. So I want to invite Sristi to tell us first, maybe your major at your college, what year you're at, and if you have some interests connected to economics, and how do you plan on continuing your year. And yeah.
Hi, everyone. So yeah, my name is Sristi Halder. I participated in the IEO in 2021. Feels like such a long time. I am majoring in quantitative economics and data science at Beloit College. I am in my senior year, so I'll be done with college in approximately a year. And throughout college, because of the experience that I had in IEO and my interest in economics, I was involved in research at University of Chicago and University of Pennsylvania. And hopefully in a year, I'm applying to pre-doctoral programs, which are like full-time researcher positions at universities. So once I'm done with graduation, I plan to work full-time on economics research.
Yes, thank you, Sristi. Nguyen, can you tell us more about yourself and tell me if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, please?
That's absolutely correct. That's really good. So hello, my name is Nguyen. I'm currently a third-year student. I major in econ and math at Duke University in the US. I represented Vietnam at the International Economics Olympiad in 2022 and 2023. Really happy to be here today to share my journey and experience with you all. My goal in economics is to pursue a PhD in economics. So far for the past 2 years, I've involved in several research labs in development economics, which is study of how to improve people's lives in an environment with limited resources. So also have some projects on economics or education as well. So yeah, very happy to be here.
Yes, thank you very much, Nguyen. And last but not least, Veselin, can you tell us what year you are and what you're studying?
I'm currently in the first year of my bachelor's degree, which is finance. I'm studying in Italy, in Bologna, and I participated in the Olympiad this summer, this year, which feels like a long time ago, but it was actually really recent. So yeah, that's about me.
Yeah, and I have a follow-up question for you because it's very recent for you. Why did you decide to join the Olympiad? Was there a reason? Or did you just want to prove that you're very good at economics?
Well, I competed at a very local level, and I had a very local, meaning my country, my home country of Bulgaria, which is not that big. And I had a lot of success when competing in Bulgaria, and I wanted to challenge myself to see how well I can do on a global level. So when I heard that Bulgaria was participating, I wanted to participate as well to represent my country, and that's why I wanted to do it.
Yes, thank you very much. That's
Plus,
great.
I have a very profound interest in economics as well.
Yeah, that is great. Thank you, Veselin, for your answer. And what about you, Sristi? Do you have a reason, like something, a driving force that made you become a part of the IEO?
Yeah, I think I was, preparing to apply to like colleges abroad that year. And I was honestly, I had like really low expectations, and I was also like just participating locally in Bangladesh. And then, I passed all the local rounds, and then once I came to IEO, that was definitely something that helped boost my application. And once I applied to all the colleges, I got really good response from all the colleges because of this experience. So that was definitely one of the biggest driving force.
That is great. That is great. Thank you, Sristi. And Nguyen, why did you participate? Do you have a reason?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because when I was in high school, I honestly didn't know much about like economics and what is it about. Because it's not part of the Vietnamese curriculum. So at first I thought it was about like money, about finance, or like banking. But the Vietnam Economics Olympiad, or the VEO, it gave me a first look into what real economics look like. It's all about like many things I've never expected before. So that experience kind of like completely changed my perspective. So it kind of like motivated me to pursue this subject further, and also to learn about more about my interest, which is the combinations of logical understanding and social understanding as well. So after the video, I kind of like want to explore that curiosity on the bigger stage. So when I was offered the opportunity to represent Vietnam in the IEO, I take that opportunity to learn more about the subjects as well, to connect more with students around the world who share the same passions. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question because you mentioned that the Vietnam curriculum doesn't have economics in it. Do you think it would be valuable for schools, high schools, to include economics in Vietnam? Because in Bulgaria as well, we don't have economics. Do you think it is valuable?
Yeah, definitely. As I say, because economics wasn't just about money or finance or banking, like many students, I think many of them still have these assumptions, but it's also study about human behavior, study about how do we make decisions in our daily lives, about why inequality exists and why how can we improve people's lives in limited resources, in environment with limited resources, which is something that I think all the students should know, and all students should at least have some interest into that. So I think it's definitely a great idea to include this subject into your curriculum.
Yeah, thank you very much for your answer. A very profound answer. And now, Veselin, since the IEO was so recent for you, do you remember what were your best practices about preparing? How did you find your materials? And maybe do you still use these practices in your university right now?
Yeah, my absolute best practice is, and I'm revealing it right now, which if anybody who wants to participate is watching, is maybe if you're going to take something out of this presentation, is this: use Khan Academy. I think Khan Academy is the best source for studying math in the first place, which I knew Khan Academy because I had to prepare the SAT, which is a really common admission test. And while I was preparing for the SAT, I found out that Khan Academy also has economics AP level classes, and I never had looked at them. But then when I started preparing for the International Olympiad, I took a look and I saw that it's the best economics teaching I've ever seen. I can't recommend it enough. In fact, while right now I'm at university, and my professors are really good. There are some very famous and well-achieved people who are great teachers, but I still think Khan Academy is better for studying. So please use Khan Academy. That's my best tip. Also, probably in your local language, if it's not English, you know a lot of concepts. It would be a good idea to take a look at every economic concept and term that you know, and try to find its alternative in English, because if you're thinking in your own language during the International Economics Olympiad, especially while doing the open questions or the presentation in the business case, it will be really bad if you can't think of the proper word or way to express that thing in English.
Yes, that is great advice. And how did you prepare for your business case?
Well, for our business case, it was rather chaotic a little, but we did a lot of simulations. We drilled it. We had, for example, our amazing teachers bring a topic to us and tell us, okay, you have 8 hours and not 24, because it would be impossible to drill 24-hour presentations. And they would tell us, okay, do the best with these 8 hours, and we did it over and over and over again. Also, we had pre-made layout for the presentation, which saved us a lot of time during the actual final round of the Olympiad. So yeah, my advice is to drill, to practice the presentation, even though it's very lengthy and it takes a lot of time, and you have to do it maybe 4, 5, 6, 7 times. It takes a lot of time, but I just said six, but it's worth it. So please drill it and also have a presentation pre-made.
Yes, thank you. And now I want to
Awesome.
turn to Sristi. Your experience was 4 or 5 years ago. How maybe your experience preparing for the IEO translated into your university journey?
I think because I spent so much time preparing for the IO, and back then it was, it was still, I think it was the third year that IO was taking place. And I remember like there was really not detailed, but specific instructions on the website about how to prepare for the IEO. I think when I took preparation for IEO, it also in turn helped me really understand that I'm very interested just in general about economics, and that is definitely something that I do want to pursue my undergrad in. And when I started my college freshman year and sophomore year, and I was taking like introductory econ courses, they did feel relatively easier because I already had like so much prep just preparing for the IO. And you do like in the syllabus, you do have things like game theory and econometrics, which are like stuff that you learn much later. But because I was already exposed to the ideas and everything, it did feel much, much easier, and I was able to do much better at it, even in my undergrad, and in my like 12 boards exam, which was really nice and amazing.
Yes, thank you, Srishti. And finally, man, you are at Duke, which I know is a pretty rigorous university, and maybe your rigorous training for the IEO helped you. Did it translate in any way, like helping you with the workload? And as well, how did you prepare? How did you prepare for the business case? Did you talk with your teammates a lot, or anything in particular that was interesting and that you thought was a very good idea? And right now now you use it in your university years.
Yeah. When I started preparing for the IEO, I realized quickly that it's not just about like memorizing theories, but it's also about like having a deep and intuitive understanding on how to apply them to real situations. So instead of studying alone, I think I try to learn through discussions and collaboration, which I think is skills that I translated a lot when I get into college environments. So I often work with my teammates from Vietnam, and we would take past IEO or national problems, and we try to like solve them individually. And then we come together to like compare our reasoning. And sometimes when we disagree, those discussion become honestly like the moment I learned the most, because it forced me to think more deeply about how to justify the answers. I think I apply those skills a lot when I get into a college environment. I do a lot of study groups. I meet my friends a lot, and we solve the problems together a lot and had a lot of discussions. So yeah, this is those are like a very essential skill that I think I wouldn't be able to get without joining IEO. I think when I was preparing for the business case, what we did was doing a lot of reviews of the business case video last year by the top teams in the IEO, and we tried to like look into the cases, kind of like broke them down into little details about like what are the strengths, the weaknesses, and how can we learn from them. I think those kind of like help us a lot before we actually doing the case. And we also do some drilling as well. We try to do some cases in like 8 hours, like 10 hours, and then get some former participants and one mentor who had experience with the Olympiad and gave us a lot of feedback. So those kind of like prepared us a lot for the business case sections.
Yeah, that is great. That is great advice. I also want to continue with another question to you. Do you think that maybe your silver medal in the IEO helped you get into Duke? And did it help you, for example, with university clubs? Because I know US university clubs are pretty hard to get into. So I would assume that you needed a big background.
Yeah, definitely. I think IEO gave me a very big boost in my applications, because I know that in the past there have been some students who are former IEO participants, and they also got into Duke. So I think it gave admission officers a very strong signal about my applications, especially where my environment I come from, Vietnam, where the public education curriculum is not very well known, especially to admission officer in the US. So it gives them a very good signal in my applications. Also, when I apply to some positions as a research assistant, because I applied very early as a freshman and sophomore. I didn't have much experience, especially in research, but I can talk about my experience in the IEO, which kind of like helped me to reach out to a lot of professors. Because like my experience at IEO, it definitely helped me a lot when I applied to university and later to research labs. But I think it wasn't just about something to put on my CV. It's also about show how I think and what I care about, because through the IEO, I learned how to take big problems and break them down logically, and to support my ideas with data and to present them clearly. And those are exactly the skills that research labs are looking for. So when I apply to the labs, I talk about how the Olympiad allowed me to think critically and how to connect economic theory to real life situations. And so yes, I think it definitely builds credibility. But more importantly, it shapes you into someone who can reason clearly, who can communicate effectively, and can stay curious about the world. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And as a side note, I would like to add that it is very good. It is not only U.S. universities that like the IEO Olympiad, universities in Europe, and I assume universities in Asia, they look at it pretty seriously. So a message to all of future participants would be that they should put it and talk about it when applying to universities. But yeah, I want to ask Sristi, because you have done a lot of stuff outside of your university and you have gone to different colleges and different programs. Did you mention your participation in the IEO? And perhaps, did you ever do you think you're gonna stop mentioning IEO in your CV?
So definitely I think like I did have like IEO in my CV when I was applying to all of these places. Particularly during my freshman and sophomore year, it would take a lot more, like, I would have like an entire experience section mentioning IEO because that really helps elevate your case. Because when you're just a freshman or sophomore, you do not have a lot of research skills to show. But if you mention that, you have participated in such a competitive program, that really makes a statement. And then I think even now it really helps build a very strong case now that I'm, looking into graduate programs and then full-time research professional positions. It really helps build a very strong case that you have been interested in economics from a very young age, and you've been pursuing this from a very young age. So even when you're going to write your statement of purpose, for example, for applying to grad schools, mentioning IEO will always be very relevant. And even yesterday, I was interviewing, and when they asked me, "Oh, why are you interested, like, in economics?" Even then I mentioned IO, like when you build your story that, when I was just in high school, I participated in this and that. From that, I was very inspired meeting like, leading economists. And then that's how my interest came. So this is something that is always going to be relevant, and it's very important. And US, at least like, colleges in US, they really like to see your interest in the subject. And if nothing, it still help build that very big statement that you're genuinely passionate about economics.
Yes, thank you. And Veselin, since you are our most recent IEO alumni, now that you have heard Sristi and Nguyen tell about their experience, how do you plan on using your IEO medal? And if you have not already used it?
Have not already used it in a more official way beyond like bragging and stuff, because the thing about my country is that we finish school at 19 years old, and time when the Olympiad was first brought to our country was in fact this year, and I couldn't participate earlier. So I had to participate essentially after graduating high school, and I didn't have the opportunity to use the IEO to get in to get into a university. Nonetheless, I still got into a university. But if I could, I don't know, change the events of the universe, I would have made the event be done sooner in Bulgaria, and I would have participated as, for example, a 10th grader, so I can essentially use it in my CV because it is in fact really helpful, and I've heard many people have used it to make really good connections and to get into really good institutions. But in the future, I think, I hope I will use it, and I'm sure that the word IEO, well, it's not a word, it's an acronym, will be worth a lot.
Yeah, thank you. And now I have a kind of a general question. I don't want to address this to any of the three of you guys, but it is, do you have any recommendations or any messages to the IEO organizers, to the people that are making the Olympiad? How do you think the Olympiad can become better? Maybe make it more timely, make it more relevant to the things that we are dealing with right now, and help newer generations adapt better in the economic circumstances that we have right now. So it is open, so any three of you can start.
I can start.
Go for it.
First of all, I want to say thank you to all the IEO organizers, to all the mentors, to the staff for everything you've done to make this competition possible. Because I think that what you build is not just an academic event. It's a community that brings together curious students from every corner of the world, and it's actually truly changes lives. Because for me personally, the IEO completely changed the direction of my life. Honestly, because back in high school, I've never thought about studying economics because it wasn't even part of my curriculum. I was thinking about doing maybe international relations or something, and so that prepared me for a career in diplomatics. So through the IEO, I discovered a subject that I felt deeply meaningful. Because of that experience, I chose to study economics in university, and hopefully now go on to further to do a PhD in economics and eventually build a career in academia, where I can keep learning, keep researching, and hopefully inspire other people the same way that IEO inspired me. So I'm very grateful to be part of this community. Very grateful and very appreciated. If I could make one small suggestion for the future, I would say would be to create more opportunities for mentorship and follow-up after the competitions. For example, we can have like short workshops like this, or alumni panels where former participants can share their experience, how they apply economics to their studies and their researches, which I think will make the IEO even more meaningful. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Sristi, Veselin, do you have a take?
Well, I also think that the International Economics Olympiad is, as it is right now, it's mostly the competition, but also some events surrounding time-wise the competition. I think that this structure can be used to host and initiate other events during, for example, the winter, which is halfway between the two Olympiads and so on. I think really the IEO could capitalize on the audience that it has, and it can, in fact, do many events. For example, I don't know, lessons, maybe minor competitions, or incentivizing local stuff in different countries. I don't know, but it can do much further than only the competition. Not that that's a critique or something, but still, it is a brand, it is an organization, it is an institution that can do much more than the competition, which is really prestigious.
Yeah, thank you, Veselin. And before giving the word to Sristi, one of our IEO executive board members wants to raise a question.
Hello, everyone. Congratulations on the event. Congratulations, Yordan, on your excellent hosting, by the way. You asked about what we do in between IEOs. Well, currently, there has been such a concept as the IEOX community. And also we have open format projects. You mentioned winter, we have the Winter Challenge. In autumn, now we have the Essay Challenge. I'm sure Farangiz will follow up with the links. And also during summer, during the Olympiad, we have the Open Track, which is basically the same IEO, kind of a mirror image, kind of a, let's call it a public server for those interested in gaming, when anyone can participate, not only the national teams, but a separate category of everyone else who's interested. But you also mentioned more kind of minor and slow burn things such as mentoring. We have tested those. We even had a Toastmasters event for a while. Those things kind of ebb and flow. They come in and die down. So if you have any special ideas, any of you, you can just write to us, info@ioofficial.org, because these community things are something we do. Maybe you're not aware of them. In that case, it will be a failure of our own communications, maybe. But they all exist. And some initiatives have existed and ceased to exist. Some are beginning to exist, and some exist stably. So thank you. Please continue.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, and Sristi, I want to ask you like to follow up the question. I don't want to take your word. So yes.
Yeah, so I think just and when I did it, it was just my third year. So I'm sure that, you know, with time that things have changed and improved. But the year that I participated in, I probably would have benefited a little bit more from just mentorships or just like, you know, lectures or talks from leading economists, because like I said, it was really a very big force in just generating interest in economics for me. And those are just elements that could really, I think, spark young minds towards economics and economics research. One other thing is I would have probably benefited from having a better alumni network, kind of like a way to just like, you know, connect to alumni. Because even when I was, you know, applying to universities, being a part of a bigger network would have been very helpful, and it would have given me a lot of guidance. And, you know, it's really nice that you guys are doing this right now. And like I said, that, you know, with time, we all just improve. And so I'm sure that it's much different now.
Yes, thank you. And this is my kind of second to last question towards you guys. Sristi, you have had the most time to reminisce on your participation in the IEO. Do you have any words of advice towards your younger self? What could have you done better so that you can advise the people that are wanting to participate in the IEO now? What mistakes can they avoid that you made?
Yeah, for sure. I would have definitely participated in the IO, I think like much earlier. If I knew about it, I would have tried it out. You know, even the years before. I was aware of like IEO and even like Bangladesh Economics Olympiad like much, much later. And I would also, for everybody, you know, who plans on participating, I would also tell you guys that just take, you know, it's a competition and prepare well for it, and but also ensure to enjoy and learn from it. Take the learning element seriously. You don't even if you know don't win something, it's a amazing experience, and being open to learning and allowing this experience to spark your interest in economics is something that will be really helpful.
Thank you, Sristi. Nguyen, can you tell us what your words of advice would be to your younger self?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with what Sristi said. I think that if I could say, give my younger self a piece of advice, it would be to enjoy the process more. Because I participated in 2022, I got a medal, so I was kind of like stressed about getting a medal again in 2023. So a little bit stressed, but I think that competition is not just about winning medals, especially it's very special for IEO. Because it's not just about winning medals, it's also about how to discover, how to think like an economist, how to learn to question assumptions, how to use it to test ideas, and how to see the world through many different perspectives. And those are the things that stay with you long after the competitions. Also, one more thing is that when I was younger, I used to think that I had to figure everything on my own. I was afraid to ask for help because I thought it would make me look unprepared. So later I realized that learning together, it actually makes everything faster, more meaningful, and also more fun as well. So I think to give an advice to a lot of young students, I would say don't isolate yourself, ask questions, share your thoughts, and be open to learn from one another. The friendships and teamwork will be things that as valuable as the competition itself.
Thank you. And Veselin, with your little time to think about your mistakes, do you remember a big mistake that you can teach others to not make in the competition?
Definitely. I have a rather contrary opinion in that sense. It's because my concept of preparing for the Olympiad was like locking in for 1 month and essentially doing only economics for 1 month, whereas I had more time to prepare and to spread out my preparation. For example, I did it within a month, and whereas I could have done that in 3 months, but more spread out. And this is my biggest advice to anybody who wants to take part, is that time is an exponential factor for growth more than even studying. So spreading your studying period over a longer time would prove more beneficial. And I was not really happy with my result because I'm a very competitive person. I really wanted the gold medal. I didn't get the gold medal, and I think that attributes mostly to leaving not a lot of time for preparation. I focus more on spending a lot of time in a short period, which I should have done the opposite.
Yes. Thank you very much for your advice. And my final question to you guys is, are any of you open to be contacted by future IEO alumni or maybe people who have previously participated in the IEO? If so, please say so. And if you could maybe leave some of your networks in the chat so that people can access them. And we will also provide them on different social medias and the outlets so that they can reach out to you. So it would be helpful if you can say whether you're open to it or not.
I am.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I would drop my LinkedIn email in the chat. Should I do that, or?
Yeah, I think if you
Yeah.
drop them, because I saw that maybe there was one question in the chat. Maybe. Yeah, hi, can we get the email, Telegram, or Instagram so we can connect with them? Yes, that would be great if you can drop a LinkedIn or an email, and we'll make sure to give them out in our different social medias. And now, even though we don't have that many listeners right now, we peaked during the middle. Is anyone from here having any questions towards Sristi, Veselin, or Nguyen? If not, then we can conclude. Please, Buyan Azarov, could you unmute and ask your question?
Oh, wait.
Yeah, we can hear you. So if you could ask your question, maybe direct it to someone, it would be great. Yeah.
Hello, and my question is, can we approach to for non-economics advice, because some of you are already studying in Duke and I'm very fascinated by this. and I am currently applying to universities. So if I wanted to ask for like advice for application or for personal statement, for example, could I contact you or ask something like that from you?
I guess this is a question to all three of you guys. Would you be open for something like that?
Yeah, sure. Like I said, like an alumni network is much bigger than the competition. So yeah, that's definitely something I'd be willing to help you with. So feel free to email or reach out to me on LinkedIn. I dropped it in the chat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sristi. Thank you for your question, Bojana. And our second question is from Aruba. I hope I am reading it correctly.
Yeah, you are. So my question is like, can we get the individual experiences of all the alumni present whilst they were prepping? And if they could like give a golden tip that really like increased their efficiency in prepping and really, really helped them.
A golden tip from each of you guys. Does anyone want to start if they have a golden tip?
I'll do it. So first of all, watch all Khan Academy and do all the exercises. Second of all, don't prepare for 1 month. Use at least 3, if not more. My mistake was that I was familiar with some of the concepts, and that's why I thought I could do it within a month. Not gonna work.
Thank you, Veselin. Nguyen, do you have a golden advice tip for Aruba?
I would say try to talk to your teammate because you wouldn't understand something deeply if you are not able to explain it to someone else. So I think it really helped me to talk to my teammates instead of spending hours stuck on one problem. I would ask how they approach it, and sometimes they have completely different ways of thinking than I am. So yeah, engage more in discussions instead of hours of reading.
Thank you. And Sristi, finally, do you have a golden tip of advice?
Yeah, I would say go through all the past IEO questions and try to solve all of those because chances are it's gonna be pretty similar. And also try to do like a few business cases with your teammates ahead of the competition within the time limit. I don't know if it's still 24 hours, but for us it was 24 hours. So try to do it within the time limit because that is definitely something that is going to be pretty, if you are just exposed to it during the competition, it's going to be difficult to do it in the moment. So make sure you're prepared.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. And if we don't have any more questions, I think that was all. Thank you to all of our participants. And thank you to all the listeners that came here to listen and ask questions live from the IEO alumni. So yes, I think we can conclude the IEO alumni talk now. And thank you guys for participating.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the speakers. May I ask everybody to drop where they are connecting today? So we have in the messages the whole broad geography we have at this meeting, please. Oh, we have people from Pakistan, okay, Uzbekistan. Okay. Riga, Latvia. Good. Oh, wow. People from Rwanda, Africa. Brazil. Great. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, dear guys, for joining us today. And Yordan, it was a great pleasure having you moderating the webinar and making it happen. Thank you, everybody. We'll be in touch and make a social media post. So thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
If you have any questions left, we would be happy to answer them.
Recording stop.
Okay. Okay. And